My name's Eric, and I'm an alcoholic.
Eric!
Sheesh, thanks, Louie, for making me come up here. Yeah, man, oh, okay. I'm on check here. I'm on TV. I'm on the timer. Making me nervous up here, man, with all this stuff.
We love you.
Well, I think the last time I shared up here a couple of years ago, Tomcat once just told me basically, so you're fearful of success, you're fearful of failure, you're fearful of women. You got drunk over it, you sold your house, and you went to rehab. And that's pretty much my story. You broke it down very clearly for me, That was pretty funny, man. But yeah, man, I got my sobriety date is April 2nd, 2017. It's not my first time. It's taken me about 15 years to get these 5.5 years. Hey, welcome, guys. Come and have a seat. It took me a long time to break down put my ego to the side and ask for help. I tried many of times to get sober. It never lasted more than a week or two, and I don't ask myself anymore. And about the first year, I was just trying to figure out what stuck this time, what was different this time, and I came to the realization that it doesn't really matter, and that's what it was God's time for me to get my head out of my ass. Luckily, before I killed myself or somebody else, So yeah, man, I there's enough people in this room to know how I drank and I used, and I definitely deserve to be here. I don't think I really need to qualify for that. Yeah, you can just Louie will keep you busy for a couple hours telling you stories. But yeah, basically, man, it's true what I was saying, man. I was scared of my own shadow. I'm a people pleaser. I'm insecure. I'm just uncomfortable in my own skin, and I've been this way pretty much my whole life. When I first got drunk, when I was about in the sixth grade, my brother took me out to a New Year's party. He was a senior in high school, and he took me out to a New Year's party at the Bonaventure Hotel. And I got lit up, man, like a Christmas tree. And I just remember feeling really warm and good. And, when you're young like that, all the girls start to give you all kinds of attention and pinching your cheeks and playing with your hair and telling you how cute you are. And I'm like, this is the life, And pretty much from that point on, anywhere I went, I had to tune myself up and get a buzz going. From that point on, up until I started coming to these rooms, I couldn't do anything unless I was under some kind of influence of something, man, just to feel comfortable. And I always thought of myself as being an outgoing person, really friendly person. My dad was in the restaurant business, so I was always around people and parties and drinking, and I became a waiter, a bartender, worked in the restaurant industry for a very long time, and I don't know if it was like, now that I got sober, I'm like, I don't like people as much as I thought I did. I think I just like being around the alcohol and being more than anything, I can't even think about being a waiter anymore. I did it for so long, man. But yeah, you start coming to these rooms, you start doing these steps. You you come to the realization a lot of different things you didn't realize about yourself. You know, um, admitting admitting that I was an alcoholic and my life was unmanageable was very difficult for me. I always had my perception of alcoholics were, pretty much like you seen in the movie, almost like hobo looking and just totally nothing and going on, going on and for me it didn't work. Luckily, it didn't work. Not yet. Didn't work out for me that way. I was always I made it through the military without getting kicked out. I graduated high school. I somehow figured out how to graduate a college. I've held the same job for over 17 years now. And I didn't think I had a problem because I had all those things, And once I don't know what else to say other than the shit stopped working. Basically the shit stopped working. The fun was over. I was having a great time for a long time, But I think the idea I hadn't quit yet, but I think the real realization for me that I had a problem is when I was diagnosed with stage 3 cancer and they said I had a 50% chance to live. And I go and do my fucking chemo and then I'd take a nap and then go out and party. You know what I mean? What the fuck was I thinking? I just pretend like nothing was going on and I just kept going through my shit. And, now that I think about it, it makes me sick to my stomach to think what my parents were thinking, when I was going out all night after doing what I'm doing, going through what I'm going through, the shit I must have put them through, And I still didn't stop after that. I made it through that, but it started, the seed was kind of planted, like, I might have a fucking problem here, man. I can't even stop just to, for a little bit of time, just to get through this, But as I've came to find out, actually, maybe getting sick was like one of those graces from God, almost, because of my illness, I got another illness, and it got me on some other pain meds, and I got addicted to these pain meds, and I took them alcoholically, and if it wasn't these pain meds, it's pretty much what brought me down to my knees, and with the drinking I was doing and all the partying I was doing, and it got to the point where I was just, I was out of it, I was on my knees. It got to the point where I was sick every day. I was throwing up. I had to have them on my pocket at all times. I couldn't go anywhere unless I had enough to get me through wherever I was gonna go. I had to plan my vacations around all this stuff, and it was a mess, man. And it was like when I was like halfway down, I had to start making plans because it never lasted till my next refill. So I always had to make some plans on where I was going, and if for whatever reason I couldn't get enough, I'd stock up on booze and get even worse, and just something to get me through the shakes and the sicknesses, and and it got to the point where it just stopped working. It got to the point where it stopped working, and I was finding myself depressed. It started out with 1 day a week, a little bit, feeling sad and feeling sorry for myself, and then it went into a full week, and then it started going to 2 full weeks, and then it was almost like a whole month straight, and I was just like, what the fuck is going on? And the more I took, and the worse it got for me. The shit, like it says, man, it turns on you, and everything that was helping me and getting me through life was fucking backfiring on me now. I had a house. I was living by myself, just me and my dog, and I'm sitting here watching. I find myself fucking just crying myself to sleep, watching all these stupid sad movies, and just like wondering what the fuck is wrong with me. You know what I mean? And one day I got on my knees and I asked God to get me out of this. But I had a mortgage payment. I could not stop on my own. I knew enough. I knew enough that I couldn't do it on my own, man. I tried many times, and there's no way I can go through the kicks, and trying to quit, and but I needed to pay my mortgage, So I asked God to help me sell my house, and then I'd go to rehab if I could, if that happened. And it feels, I don't know the exact time, it feels like a week later, the fucking housing market shot up. I sold my house in a week, and I found myself like, uh-oh, I gotta do something about this now, And so I still, from like I mentioned earlier, I came to the, I didn't try to get sober a while back, and it, I didn't do the shit that you guys told me to do, man. I wasn't fully vested. I had 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and I, and you guys, probably know when you have that going on, eventually you're gonna fucking, go back out, and I did. And it took me 10 years to get back here, and but I kept my big book and my 12 and 12 up in my closet, So I dusted those fuckers off, and I was home. I had sold my house. I went back to my mom's house for a little bit, and I was putting it off, and then my doctors cut me off all my meds, and I'm like, fuck, what am I gonna do? And I started calling the rehabs, and I was just like, my main, if they allowed me to smoke, I'll fucking go. I had to be able to smoke cigarettes, man. And so I was calling, and I called this Los Encinas in Pasadena, and they said, yeah, we'll get your name and number, and we'll give you a call. I'm like, nah, fuck that. I go, it's today, right now, or never. I go, none of this bullshit, none of this waiting around. My mind, this is a one-time deal, man. Like I'm doing them a favor or something, I'm like, this is it, You're not getting my money unless you fucking let me go right now. And they said, I called them on. I thought they would say, no, sorry then, And they said, yeah, come on down. We'll have a bed for you. So I was like, fuck it. I packed my shit up. There was no one home. I left a message. I called my mom, left a message on her phone. I said, I'm going to rehab. And, I took the rest of my stash, smoked all my weed, and I fucking drove down to Los Encinas. And I was all fucking high as motherfucker. And I'm like, I can do this, You're going in there all fucking, like, this ain't gonna be nothing, all high as fuck. And then, 24 hours later, I'm like, what the fuck did I do to myself? And yeah, so I do that. I do the detoxing, and after about 4 days, they told me I can go. I had this guy from the rehab place coming to visit me, and they're all these salesman type guys and trying to get you to go to rehab. And I'm like, I'm feeling good. I'm like, I don't need rehab. And I call my mom. I'm like, oh, I'm detoxed. I'm ready to come home. She's like, what the fuck you mean coming home? She's like, I go, yeah, I'm detoxed. I'm okay. It's out of my system. I'm cured. And she's all, fuck that. You're cured. You're fucking you're gonna go to that rehab. You're not coming home, And I was like, really? She's like, yeah. She's like, you already got the time off of work. Just fucking do it. And I was like, all right. There's a couple guys in there that, were egging me on to go into the rehab with them and stuff. And I did. And it was a trip, man. When you're that new and you're sober, I was a hot mess. I couldn't talk for more than 2 minutes without fucking crying and lips all shivering and all day long, man. There was like fucking box of tissues and shit all day, man, for fucking like the whole month I was there. It was fucked up. But you know what? When I found out how much that shit was costing, man, I was talking to every doctor there, anybody who would listen to me, man. I was fucking dropping everything, Just I remember portions about the program. I don't have to just tell everybody everything, all my shit, all the psychiatrists and all the counselors and everybody there. I was just whatever, man. I played racquetball, I did yoga, I did tai chi, I was doing fucking everything, and I got through it. I got through it. I started learning a little bit about myself, man. I needed to get locked away, man, to give myself a little momentum. And then I went into sober living. I found a sober living there, and I stayed there for 3 or 4 months. And And I just trying to do everything that I didn't do last time. Because I know this program worked. I have some really close friends of mine that turned their life around because of this program. And I know I didn't do everything you guys asked me to do. So I did that. I came back. Got a sponsor. Started taking commitments. Started working at a Lano club on Tuesday nights after work. Putting in some time. Became a coffee person. Started getting myself in this program. Told myself I'm gonna go all in, man. Trying to, instead of like last time, thinking everybody here just knew each other, and it was like, it was bullshit. Everybody's all cliquish and fuck that, and but I wasn't introducing myself to you guys. I wasn't doing nothing. I would show up late and I'd leave early and then complain that nobody talked to me. I'm like, fuck these guys. You know what I mean? But I know that's not how it works. And I started doing little things differently all the time. Immersed myself in this program. Had to push some people away for a while till I got my footing. And this program is everything that it says it is, man. You get out of it what you put in, And then when it came to, that was huge. Going in, I was like, signing up and going into rehab for me was my step one. Admitting to myself that that I'm an alcoholic, and my life's unmanageable. And I was fucking very ashamed of that because I knew I was going to be gone for 30 days. I knew everybody was going to be, friends and family were going to be asking about me, and the word's on the street that I need fucking help, But they all fucking knew it. It wasn't a surprise, let's just say. So, is that even 60 minutes? Is that it? Fuck. All right, let's get sober, man. I'm fucking here. So yeah, man. Admitting myself, just by doing that, I admitted it, man. And then my sponsor at that time, all the shit that I become unmanageable, I wrote everything down, had to basically step two, how to believe, that there's God out there, get me back into sanity. He made me draw a picture of my sanity when I was using, when before I got sober, And I drew a picture of like a bag of pills and a bottle of Jack, fucking with the sunlight and birds and shit and smiling and stuff. He's like, does that look like a life of sanity right there? That's more like insane, But you start seeing all those things. But I came to believe, I always believed in God. I just didn't think God was there for me because I was selfish and I wanted everything done. Everything I asked for never fucking happened just like that, But little did I know that God has been looking out for me this whole time. It just didn't happen on my time, And turning over my will, man, that was really a tough one for me to visualize, turning my will over to carry God, But once I got it, man, once I learned how to just be like, fuck it, just basically, you just got to stay out of the results, man. Do the fucking right thing, stay out of the results, and deal with whatever that happens after that. That's it. That's all it is. Just fucking do the right thing, stay out of the results, and fucking keep going, man. And just and asking God just to help me do those things, I was a nighttime prayer, for whatever reason I didn't know I could pray all through the day, Once I realized you could pray through the day, man, that fucking helped out a lot, Started asking for God all day, all night, man, minutes and seconds, every hour. So if you're new here, man, pray. You can never pray enough, man. Find something that's greater than yourself, that's not you, that's going to help you out. Because we can't do this alone. This is a we program, And you're only, you're only as sick as your secrets, You go into step 4, you do an inventory, you write that shit down. You write everything down. You write all your fucking secrets down, man. I wanted to get everything out. I didn't want to be sick anymore. What I came to find out for me is that most of all my resentments and all that shit, I was doing it to myself. My sponsor now tells me, you gotta leave my friend Eric alone. You beat yourself up too much, And I do. I'm always putting myself down, man, and I'm always insecure, and my head tells me all these fucking weird fucking things, But now I'm aware of it, and I let this shit out, I tell somebody that I could trust, You write it down, you tell some people you could trust, you tell someone you could trust, they help you get through your shit, you start becoming aware of it, But now, like they said, now you're responsible for your shit after this, right? After you fucking done all that stuff, now you're responsible. Now you know what you did, you know what you learn what your defects are, your shortcomings are. And now you're responsible for all these decisions and the shit that you do, because now you're aware of it, And there's a lot, self-freeing and doing that, you know what I mean? And learning all my, my character defects, having too much of something that I don't need, basically, and the shortcomings, having not enough of what I need more of, you start figuring all that stuff out, and then you start applying it to your way of living. At the best of your ability, not every little fucking thing, like these principles, honesty, hope, faith, courage. You sprinkle a little bit of that shit in through your day, man, you're gonna have a pretty good day, and that's what this program has taught me to do, man, right? And then the justice, you write down that list of the people that you fucked over, man, or you need to apologize to, you just make that list first. You don't have to do anything at that point. And then again, you're starting to see all the bad shit that you did to everybody. But, and then you start going around, you start telling people, start paying back the money you owe. You start fucking apologizing for the shit you could do, asking what you can do to make things right, man, And then you hit up the maintenance steps, and you fucking go through the end of your day and kind of do a little quick fucking check of what went good, what went bad. I don't have to get all crazy about it, but just, if I had a good day, why'd I have a good day? If I had a bad day, why'd I have a bad day? I mean, you do all this. A lot of successful people, other people in this program, do this for life, too. You know what I mean? It's a really good way to live, man. It keeps yourself organized. It keeps yourself responsible. And it really just helps things go a lot smoother, And then when you stop lying, you don't have to remember your lies, man. It's really freeing, this life, this clean and sober life, this life of these principles. You know what I mean? And then, and like I said, you pray, you meditate, right? When you're praying, you're asking God for whatever, and when you're meditating, you're listening for His answers. You know what I mean? And then at the end of the day, this is all you give back to whatever has been given to you. It's all true, man. It's really easy, really simple program. Don't make it complicated. This is because that's what we like to do. But, you do all these things. You're going to stay sober. You have a good chance of staying sober. Nothing's guaranteed in this life. But, you stick in this room right here. You go on these retreats. You put your hand out. You ask for fucking help. And there's a good chance you're going to wake up tomorrow feeling pretty good. So that's all I got. Thanks.
Thanks,